We visit with the mayors on Wednesdays, and Bobby Gutierrez here this morning, the mayor from the city of Bryan. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, Scott. How are you?
Good, good. We had a little bit of audio today. Of course, you hear visitors at the end of the city council meetings. Don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I know that once again, medians came up, and if people didn't hear it in the newscast, you guys are communicating as best you can.
Sure.
Under the circumstance.
Yeah, we do. We've since the very one. That's been the topic that we've been talking about and everything else. We're trying to figure out a solution for it. We have never stopped. We do know what the public is talking to us about it, and we understand that. There's got to be a solution. It's not going to be screaming and yelling. It's going to be stuff that we're going to have to hopefully work out behind. I did mention we have a meeting with one of the commissioners. Our commissioner who services this area. It wasn't specifically going to be about medians. It was going to be about general stuff that we have, infrastructure requirements that we're going to need as we start announcing projects and doing different things. And we do want to stay ahead of it. People say, well, you're 10 years behind. Well, it's not us 10 years behind. It's everybody that's 10 years behind. Texas is growing. The whole state's growing. We talk about thousands of people that come every single day to move over here. And it's a reason why. I mean, with the quality of life, the things that we're doing over here are great. But to keep up with that infrastructure, we don't get to pick and choose. We get handed what those projects are. And every year that all those projects are spread across the whole state of Texas, and everybody's in need. It's not just us. So it's not that we're not thinking about it. It's not that we're not planning for it. I mean, it's things that are happening now that we've talked about 20 years that are just now coming up. Our deal is to advocate for our area, and our ideal is to advocate for who and what we need. And there are sections and there's parts of our community that need some help right now to get ahead of what's going to happen. And there's some parts of our community, some of the stuff that dealing with in College Station right now we are 10 years behind. But it's not the fault of College Station and their council or anything else. And there's really no fault. It's just we're trying to spread out a limited amount of money across our whole state. So we all suffer for that across the whole state.
Sure. Well, you mentioned clearly we have to look at transportation down the road. Now, I know there's discussion out in the county because they're looking that they want to complete a loop around Brazos County, and there's some folks who don't want that in there. They like where they live, and they like the amount of traffic that they have, but that's always going to be a problem when it comes to any kind of improvement, when it comes to moving people.
Exactly. And people act like we haven't talked about this for the last 20 years. The MPO's been talking about this for 20 years, maybe plus. It might not even happen in our lifetime, but we've got to continue that conversation. We've got to continue to talk. If not, we are going to be dealing with situations like they have in Austin right now. The stuff where you are 20, 30, 40 years behind when you have the explosive growth that we're looking to have over here. I mean, we're not advocating to mess up our community. It's just things are happening. And because we have a great college like Texas A&M, a university here, a system here that are doing things, the Board of Regents, the presidents, the chancellors that are advocating for our area, for the college and their universities, their stuff is coming.
Yeah, so let's switch around to, I want to get your comments on this because this was a discussion in College Station Council. They were talking about Brazos Transit. Mm-hmm. Now, because Bryan and College Station, same situation. You're going to have to start paying into a transit system now that you didn't have to pay for before. And as a stakeholder, one would think there needs to be input there. So we've kind of heard a little bit about some of the concerns in College Station. How does the city of Bryan or city council want to address what Bryan Transit District needs to be doing to give you what you need for your customers and the people who live in Bryan?
Well, I think they do a good job. They cover a big area. I mean, so they cover a big area. We're the largest part of that big area that they have, and they do a good job of what they do. I think it's underutilized. I think the buses, obviously, we see that on a daily basis, but there's times of the day when they are full. And Bryan, the city of Bryan, I think we benefit a little bit more from the city of College Station. We have people in our area, the demographic in our area, that utilize it more so than some of the stuff in College Station. But we are truly one city. So no matter where that is, we've got to figure out where that is, and we can't justify going, okay, if you get one bus, we get one bus. If you get one this, we get one route. And we've got to look at the need, and how do you make that need more valuable where people will actually get on the bus and give up a car, because we are a car state. We're a car country,
Yeah.
So it's hard for you to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to take my bike today, and I'm going to ride the bus today. Yeah. That's going to be it's a generation of mentality change. So we've got to get that in people's head, because we are going to have traffic problems. We're already having traffic problems on Highway 6 right now. Peak times of the day on Villa Maria, peak times of the day. Every major corridor, we have problems.
Can't build your way out of it either. No. That's for sure.
And when you redo them, just like when we're doing different roads, that's a whole nother problem that everybody gripes about, even though they know it's going to make it better when it's all over. But going through those transitions are never fun.
Sure. Bobby Gutierrez here, the mayor of Bryan. council decided to spend some more money at Midtown Park and drop a couple of wells there. Kind of explain why you're doing that.
Well, we've got to keep that water level good. We're doing the boardwalk, which we've planned on for the whole time. I want to tell my council thank you. I want to tell them thank you for keeping up and making sure we're good stewards of the money that we're spending out there. When we put something out that was allocating for $3 to $4 million on a boardwalk, and we get our bill back, and they say no, it's going to be $9 million, and we said, well, no, take that back and start over again. We've pushed all the stuff back. Our fault is that we're now everything is kind of being delayed, but it's $5-6 million. So it makes a big difference. So we pull that back. We've proved the right what I would say is the right plan, the right project to go forward on our boardwalk, and we're expanding the boardwalk too. So we actually got it to be expanded a little bit longer, a little wider, a little bit more purpose driven for the whole area. So it's going to be a really good destination place there. But keeping that water level, you don't want to come up to a lake and there's no lake there because of a drought or whatever. So we're able to keep that, and that serves the purpose of the TECQ as well.
Sure. Well, yesterday the legislature went ahead and settled on a new speaker, so we've got that settled on the House side. We'll have an interview I did yesterday with Senator Schwertner. We'll play that in just a minute. We'll hear things on the Senate side. But I know there's some things that y'all are pretty anxious about from your city and cities all over the state about what happens in Austin.
Yeah, we are. We're going to be very involved this year. I mean, I think our council has been very involved. Councilman Edge has been involved for quite a long time, and he advocates for us on that end. I'll be there quite a bit too. I know Mayor Nichols and their crew will be up there as well. Preemptions, the stuff that they're taking away from the city, the mandates that they're asking us to do, the allocations of the money. I think if you look at both of our cities, we do a good job. We do a good job of keeping our balancing our budget. We have AA ratings. It's the best you can get. I mean, we had bonds that sold yesterday, and our bonds, we had more people bidding on our bonds than we've ever had again. Last time they did the bonds, it was the same thing. This time, even more. So, people they want to gamble on our community because they know what's happening. So we're doing a good job. We would just like not to be penalized for doing a good job because there's other cities that aren't. Now, I don't know how you can do this, but if you can say, okay, well, the city's 500,000 and above, this goes to you guys, but the rest of them and below, just bracket us out of these bills or bracket out. So look, you have performing cities, non-performing cities. Look at their credit ratings and say, okay, if you're at this, then this is the problem you're going to have. You've got to either work your way out of it or we're going to help you work your way out of it. But the ones that are clearly doing good jobs, leave us alone and let us continue to do a good job because we make bad decisions. We get booted out of office the next election. It's just that they don't like it happening from the federal government to the states. We don't like it happening from the state to the cities and counties.
My concern is, and we continue to see the battle between urban Texas and rural Texas. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Brazos County is kind of in the middle. I mean, you can wear either hat depending on what part of the economy you're looking at.
Yeah, and that's true. But I mean, it's more of a way of thinking. I mean, everybody wants quality of life. And I want quality of life. Everybody wants that utopian society, but how do you pay for it? And at the same time, you're going, I want this, I want this park, I want this, I want this X, and I want you to lower my taxes. I want you to drop my property, payment, all the stuff that you want, and you can't maintain those. It goes back to what I've said in the beginning. Cities do two things: safety and services. Everything else is on the burden of what's left over, or if what the taxpayers are willing to pay for or willing to contribute to.
Well, you certainly understand a lot about the politics side of things. Quite honestly, the two state representatives we have in Brazos County voted for the other guy for Speaker of the House, puts him on the back bench, as they call it in politics. That, while it's not a liability, it might not put Brazos County, and therefore the city of Bryan, in that good a position to ask for some things in Austin.
Well, I hope that's not true, Scott. I mean, I think that not everybody voted for me, clearly. So that doesn't mean that they don't like me. That doesn't mean they hate me or anything else. That doesn't mean they think I'm going to do a bad job. They might think the other person would do a better job. And we have to, when you're in this position, you have to have thick skin for one. I don't know that I have thick skin. It just, every day it seems like it wears down and wears down. You keep hearing the bad things enough, you kind of feel like you're doing a bad job. So it really does. When somebody calls you and says, hey, man, I just want to tell you I appreciate what you're doing and we appreciate the vision. That truly means a lot to every one of the leaders who are out there who do this job for free.
Absolutely.
So, when you're in that position over there, the same thing, whether you win, whether you lose, you would like to say, okay, well, you're in that position and you represent 90,000 people. And in my position, you represent 90,000 people and they're expecting you to do the right thing and put those things aside.
I've got the state senator queued up. We're about to talk to him, so thanks for the time this morning.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, if I say one thing, I just, we looked at after the first of the year, January 1st, I actually came here and I was here that morning and nobody else was here. But I want people to know that the cities of Bryan, cities of College Station, we truly are looking at these incidents that have happened, these tragedies that have happened across the world, and we are on top of them. You can't plan for evil, and there's nothing that in the world that you can stop something who wants to do harm and wants to do damage. But we are preparing, and we're prepared. We have been prepared with all the stuff that we've done for many years. But
Thanks
thank you
for the
so
time.
much.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Bobby Gutierrez, Mayor Bryan. All right, there you go. So we were pretty much, we politicked it out there.
Yeah, packed to that last half hour.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anyway, so hey, high temperature day is going to be 57 degrees, 36 for a low temperature tonight. All that stuff's fine. Just remember it's going to freeze this weekend. So
get your house ready.
Yeah, that's right. Do that. Yeah, that's it. Hey, Mr. Homeowner. Yeah, no
that's
kidding.
me.
All right, we're back tomorrow. Bryan Broadcasting Station, WTAW, College Station, Bryan.